He is an economic thinker and writes extensively for newspapers, financial journals, and delivers lectures in seminars and conferences. He is a trustee and a treasurer of the India Policy Foundation and Dr. Mukherjee Smriti Nyas. He has initiated various public welfare projects like Jal Adhikar Foundation, Nagarik Manch, Shri Ji Gaur Sadan, Make Cooperative Movement, and Anti-Corruption Movement. Shri Gopal Krishna Agarwal's association with Bharatiya Janata Party spans over 2 decades. He has actively participated in the party's economic policy formulation and has been a member of various committees and forums related to the economy and finance. And his topic will be e-commerce and retail trade policy. With a huge round of applause, sir, can we have you on stage? Shri Gopal Krishna Agarwal. With a huge round of applause, everybody. Thank you so much, sir, for joining. And definitely, we are going to get a lot of learning from your session. Definitely.
Thank you. Fine. Namaskar. I'm audible? Thank you, thank you. I thank the organizers of this wonderful program today. It's a Kites Craft Production and Global Chamber of Consumer Rights, and I thank George Kurianji who has invited me here, and Mr. Gio, CEO of this company. My fellow panelists, guest of honor, and we had the pleasure of listening to Mr. Sanjay, Mr. Luthra, and all those who will be receiving the award today. I would like to congratulate them in advance. Thank you, friends. As I look after the economic affairs from the party, and we have been working on various policy measures since 2014 on the various economic affairs. I have been contributing on that, so I will focus on the topics that have been given to me. Before I start that topic, just brief 2-3 things I would like to say. The important thing is that today's topic is business and education. If you look into the history of any of the country around the world, these two are very important subjects for the growth and development of a strong nation. Today, at present, we are seeing just our Prime Minister has concluded the France tour. Earlier, he went to Africa and US. There is a global interest in India. And in the current situation, we'll see the global world is looking at in coming 2-3 decades, the economic activity will shift to India. And therefore, there's a lot of global interest, whether on the business side or investment side, setting up industries across, and even going to that extent that major forums, world forums, whether it is the G20 forum, where India is enjoying the presidentship of the G20 forum, or World Economic Forum, or whether the permanent seat of the United Nations Security Council, everywhere or required, anything we'll see, there's a big interest in the global community, and they feel that in the coming 2-3 decades, India can assume the global leadership. And that is because India is making big stride on the economic side. So business and education, these are two important topics. These are two important aspects of any country's development. And therefore, I congratulate the organizers for choosing these topics and identifying people who can act as icons. I was just reading one chapter in the Gita, where on the 10th chapter, it is Vibhuti Yoga. It says that wherever you see some important achievement of any person, there you should feel that it is the part of the Brahma. That is very important. And once you recognize those icons, if you go into the history also, those who are icons for anybody, they are the role model for others to follow. So recognizing people whose contribution is important, giving them encouragement, giving them support, etc., so that we can work together and consider as a role model. Therefore, I appreciate the program being organized today. And second thing I would like to say is, in the last 9 years, when we came to power in 2014, the focus of Prime Minister Modi has been to create a corruption-free ecosystem, leakages-free ecosystem for government deliveries, and create an ecosystem where people get equal opportunities for business. Several laws have been changed, several initiatives have been taken by the government, whether it is tackling the problem of the bank through NPA resolution, insolvency bankruptcy code, or creating several laws, etc., so that an ecosystem of ease of doing business and transparent ecosystem of business is developed in the country. Everybody has an opportunity to develop his entrepreneurship skills, his self-employment, etc. And at the current level, the topic given to me about the e-commerce policy and this retail trade policy, these are two important policies that the government is working at the present situation. I just give you 2-3 important examples where policies are very important for the growth of business and industries in the country. We had industrial policy which was formulated in 1948. There was one amendment in the industrial policy in 1991. But we have the same industrial policy which was formulated in 1948. There are requirement of policy changes in so many things. Another example, government is working on a new industrial policy so that the whole environment of investment, bringing FDI, bringing new industries, creating good environment for the manufacturing sector, whether through implementation of GST, transparent virtual assessment, transparent system of tax filing, assessment, refunds, etc. is there. Similarly, another important initiative that the government has taken is about the logistic policy. There is no logistic policy in the country at present. Our government started this and working on the logistic policy. You see, because of the logistic policy, there is a huge investment in the infrastructure. In this budget alone, more than 10 lakh crore has been identified to build strong infrastructure, whether it is railways, road, airways, waterways, bridges, etc., logistic, this multimodal transportation hub, industrial corridors, defense corridors. The huge investment in the infrastructure, the government aims to bringing this new logistic policy is to reduce the cost of transportation of raw material and finished product by almost 40%. This will give ease of doing business. This will give ease of living also. So the policies have immense potential to bring different issues of development, etc. Similarly, global trade. India wants to participate in the global trade. We had earlier in 2010 our trade relations, trade policies in the ASEAN countries. But what was happening that lot of manufacturing products from the ASEAN countries was getting infiltrated into our domestic markets, and our domestic manufacturing sector was suffering. What we have tried to do in bilateral trade agreement with UK, US, Gulf countries, Australia, which are developed countries whose industries are highly developed, and link our manufacturing supply chain to these developed countries so that our domestic manufacturing gets more benefit and they get integrated with global and regional supply chains and they come up with good growth, etc. So logistic policy, industrial policy. Similarly, in the same case, I will mention that there are 4 new policies that the current government is working. One is the industrial policies, second is the logistic policy that I have mentioned, underlined, And the third important, that if our manufacturing sector has to grow, our MSME sector has to grow, our manufacturing sector has to integrate with the regional and global supply chain, we need a strong e-commerce policy. And the e-commerce policy is also under the pipeline. Our government has also tried to come out with a transparent mechanism of discussion and debate with the people, get the aspirations of the people and incorporate into the policy making systems. And this earlier also, when e-commerce policy was formulated, it was put in the public domain for discussion and discourses. There are, with receiving different suggestions, the government has worked on the second and the third draft of e-commerce policies, because it is very important for our growth of the trade in the near future. And at the same time, we have a strong base of retail trade, small shop owners, etc. And so aligning with the e-commerce policy, with the retail trade policy, these two important policies which were not there in the system are also on the card of the government, so that our small businesses, the neighborhood shop owners also get benefit of the total e-commerce, new technology based growth of market, etc. is very important. And in isolation alone, any policy cannot work. The government is also working on a 360 degrees of initiative, so that the whole sector, whether it is industries or manufacturing, gets benefited. It is not that only one policy will help any industries, or any one initiative will help any development of the industry. The whole focus of the government is to come out with a strong economy for the India, and to support the e-commerce initiative or e-commerce policy, or support the small manufacturers, etc., to come with align with the international market. The government has done so many initiatives under the Digital India. It is not only the policy, it is not only the one aspect, but the government is looking after every aspect of developing the manufacturing sector. The government has made huge initiative on the BharatNet to link in addition to infrastructure connectivity, internet connectivity is also being initiated to the BharatNet project. All panchayats, almost all the panchayat of the around 700 districts have been initiated to be linked through internet under the BharatNet project. Similarly, fintech are being supported. We have more than 100 fintechs through startup ecosystems. Those who have attained this unicorn status, and more than 1,000 fintechs are working. Startup initiative is being given a big fillip by the government. UPI has a successful story in the Indian context. The digital transaction, financial transaction, India at present is having the maximum number of digital transactions in the world. Then the government has announced huge investment in the blockchain technology. These are the new technologies which will help the technological ecosystem to grow in the India. Why I am telling you this thing? Because there are several students, there are several other researchers here, though there are several business community people. If they align their careers or their activities with what is the vision of the Prime Minister or the government, they will get benefit for themselves. At the same time, they will get benefited they will be contributing to the benefit of the country. So in this budget alone, government has allocated huge investment into the blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, green hydrogen, renewable energy. So these are the initiatives which will be bringing a huge technological innovations and growth in the country. Whole chapter, a separate chapter has been put into this budget on new technological initiative by the government. Huge funds is being allocated on these sectors. And one important initiative, because in e-commerce we had received several reservations by many small businesses, etc. that there are unhealthy competition from international e-commerce organizations, whether it is cash burning, deep discount or preference seller. So government at present has started two important initiatives to support the e-commerce industries. GEM is one initiative where government e-market portal is operational, where most of the PSUs, I am on the board of several PSUs, most of the PSUs and government departments and companies who are having turnover of more than 500 crores, they have been asked to compulsorily register themselves on government e-market GEM portal and procure their product or requirement or purchases through that product in a transparent mechanism where small businesses also get a chance to participate. Similarly, another very important initiative on the e-commerce is ONDC, Open Network for Digital Commerce. This is a completely government initiative where every small business buyers and sellers can register with without any problems of this certain international companies are having those problems are there in the e-commerce side because of monopolistic working, etc. So government has initiated ONDC, Open Network Digital Commerce, where anybody, buyers and seller, can register, and it's an open platform, and it is giving huge strides and competition to the various private international companies. The same way, personal data privacy laws are being amended so that the issues concerning about the privacy of data is being changed, and issues about server localization, who is the owner of the data, is being resolved through the personal data bill, privacy bills. GST is another important initiative, complete registration for small businesses through online portals, their assessment, registration, e-way bill, refund, everything is coming to their bank account without any subjective interference. Virtual assessment is taking place. It is now compulsorily asked by the assessment officer that they have to go for virtual assessment without calling the assessees or income tax payee to come to the department. So these are very important initiatives which may look in isolation, small initiatives, but if you look into the whole block, you will see the vision of the government in where is there. I have told about connectivity, I have told how the government is working. India is a first mover advantage in 5G technology. Huge investment has been committed. India is even looking for 6G technology. Semiconductor, chip manufacturing. Our automobile sector was suffering for due to COVID, the supply chain bottlenecks in the chip and semiconductors. Huge investment the government has planned under the PLI, production linked incentive schemes, for supporting the this semiconductors and chip technologies. Retail trade policy, definitely, I said along with this, we don't have at present any retail trade policy. It's an important segment where more than 25 crores people are getting employment through retail trade policies. The government is looking into their concerns in the retail trade policy. They are also doing, even in the e-commerce policy, government has been talking about the regulatory authority and FDI policies, whether how much investment should come and which sector investment should come, whether there are categories about where the e-commerce companies are working as a purely platform, technological platforms, or they are also working as a where warehousing activities or investment is taken. So these are the issues which are very important for e-commerce policy. Government is looking into these policies, concerns of the people, and our focus is so that retail trade, small businesses come to the platform. At the same time, our manufacturers have access to the global market through global e-commerce platforms and integrate their businesses through regional and global supply chain. On the retail trade policy also, I'll just mention some of the important concerns which have come to our light and we are working to incorporate into this retail trade policies, so that small businesses, they do not die due to competition. They are the backbone of our lot of small MSME sector and businesses, etc. They need proper distribution chain. They need skill development, how their labor productivity can be increased, how effective governance of retail trade policy, retail shop owners can be there, and they have a grievance redressal, whether it is a consumer or seller. The government is also looking after setting up a grievance redressal mechanism. India is one of the 5th largest global destination for retail trade. So this is an important sector which will help India's growth. So with this, I would like to just say and conclude my presentation is, you have to align with your career and objective to what is the vision of the government. The government vision at present is to make India economically very strong. For that, various policy initiatives are being taken into consideration, even including environment policy, etc. The whole system, leakages proof delivery mechanism is being set up so that the money flows into the rural areas and remote areas and without any leakages, and a direct benefit transfer and targeted delivery, so that the demand. So these are some of the points that I wanted to mention before you, and I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity and for giving me this opportunity to listen some of the best brains and contribute my thoughts to it. And I congratulate all the award winners, those who will be receiving the award today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. That was, I guess, a very
Very nice
session by him, and definitely we agree with sir that